Does everybody know that it's on?
C4 through T1.
I told them to put on all their microphones.
Fun.
I know.
No, I meant this.
I
don't care.
Well, I'm light duty, but it's a weird thing because I can't
Yeah,
walk
I just
around
got a
like this
notification that
and not have
it's on.
this. But I don't drive.
I thought you meant about That sounded like
Just getting little payoffs.
You just
But
plug
I
your
just, and PTA and, all that kind of stuff, so,
Is it gonna be this kind of meeting?
it was a lot.
It's too warm outside.
All right.
You need to open a window or something, prop the door, I don't know.
I think the
I
AC's
needed
on.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah, it's cool in here compared to up there.
Yeah.
All right, looks like everybody's here, so 1:37, we'll start the meeting. Okay. Welcome back, Kip.
Thank you.
First of all, so I see that they cleared some trees up there, then that wasn't necessarily for this project, but I see that they cleared some trees. How'd all that go, up in the area that we're thinking of the building?
So jointly with the new roadway for the rec and the need for parking, we were able to combine cutting some trees
Yeah.
in that given area. That area is also an area that could be used for a municipal building, if not parking and parking.
My understanding was that even if we weren't putting the building there, you were cutting that anyway, right, for parking up there? Because that was kind of the grand plan?
In the picture, crayon drawing from the charrette, basically, it talked about a 50-foot roadway going in there. And it talked about an area for building parking and another pavilion or athletic building in that area, but
Right. But it was,
towards the fields.
my point was that it wasn't cut for the building, it was cut anyway. Because I don't want there to be an impropriety that we've started a project that hasn't been approved yet. That's my point.
No, it wasn't a separate issue, it was part of what was, actually, the pricing on that started with the road and the
Right.
parking, and it never changed, it never got added to,
Okay.
same amount, same funding.
Yep, excellent, that's perfect, and just to recap, you did some test pits up there
Previously,
previously?
Yep.
And at least from your perspective for feasibility, you've done what you can do, right? For now.
right, 2 test pits were done in the basic area that a building would go in. We were able to get down 9 and 10 feet on both. No ledge, no water until after 9 feet.
Nice.
So
So you get a full.
it doesn't mean that there couldn't be a
Sure.
vein of ledge running through. We
Of
just
course.
found one on the road, so.
Yeah, okay, excellent. And as you all know, that we signed the contract back on, I think, was it February or March? Oh, that was a big day, that was my surgery day. March 28th, so we got the contract, and I have been trying to get a hold of Weston and Sampson for a little bit. I'm a little disappointed if this is the way the relationship was gonna start, because I left a very detailed message last week indicating that we had a public meeting today, and that I needed any information, even if they said no progress, I would have at least liked to have gotten a phone call back and I just left another message for them today about progress. And I did note in the contract that it says that work will be completed within 2 months from the notice to proceed. My problem with that is, well, what's the notice to proceed? And I just assumed the contract was the notice to proceed, so I'm gonna have to get some clarification on that, because if the notice to proceed was signed on, March 28th, they should be done in 2 weeks, and I don't think they're gonna be done in 2 weeks. So we gotta, I thought I was fairly clear on kind of a time was of the essence on this type of a thing, that we really wanted to get rolling, so. Because what I would like to do is during the feasibility, and I talked about it, just a rendition drawing of anything that, so people have some sort of a visualization as to what we're looking at. Doesn't necessarily have to be exact, we don't wanna lock anything and then do that, so I'd like to do that as early as possible, and that was kind of the answer I was trying to get from them. So Now, Jared, you're familiar with these feasibility studies, right?
Yeah, it's kind of odd to me.
But can you just
they're usually
explain-
very punctual.
Right, well, this is fine, and this might be just, maybe he was on vacation, didn't check, I don't know.
Yeah.
But can you just tell the group, just on I know we have the scope of services and everything, but just a Cliff Note version of what they're gonna be doing during the feasibility for this group? I know we've talked about it other places, and we talked about it when I think he came in for the selectmen's meeting a little bit, but just a short version of what they're gonna do.
Basically, it's a way to get to know the organization. So they'd start by, understanding what the staffing needs are here. And what building needs would be associated with that staffing need that you have. And then they usually set up a series of interviews with, key members of the department and anyone else that they want to kind of bring along. They do those interviews with the people to kind of understand what their needs are in terms of space and storage, et cetera.
Is that similar to what you kind of started doing with us? Remember, you kind of
Yeah.
went around and talked about
So
office
that's,
space, and
yeah,
I think you talked to Karen about that. and
yeah,
stuff,
so that was.
So they're gonna officially do that. I mean,
They
you
would
did
have-
some of the
They would
groundwork.
officially do, I did some of the groundwork for that, but they would officially do that and kind of take a hard look at that, and then also assign square footage numbers to what each of those things are. And they come up with a space needs matrix, which would then give you an overall a better number in terms of overall square footage needed for the project.
Yep.
They would then take that and begin to place that on the site with building blocks,
Mhm.
of those overall large numbers.
Sure.
And then to, see how that works with circulation, vehicle traffic, parking, et cetera, that
Right.
we've already kind of started to develop as well.
And Eric, you're familiar with that process also?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with all that stuff, but it just, for so everybody knows where they're going with this.
Karen, have you interfaced with them at all? No, okay, so we do need to check in, status update.
Yes.
Oh, don't you worry, I'm on them with
That sounds like you're on it.
I might have told them I was a little miffed, and I left it clean and professional, but I said, listen, guys, I need some responsiveness here. Just the phone call would have been sufficient for me. I didn't need a body here, but, because we, again, the goal is to try to put this in front of the voters next year, and we got to get some information out. As part of that, I had Jim Hajar in my office last week, Jim, maybe? So, talking about the transparency and the publication of everything that we're doing in addition to these meetings. And what I think is a good idea that we talked about is, because I all along want to start doing public meetings every month. I'm not asking you all to be there. I will be at them, and they'll be at a time convenient for the public, probably like a 6 p.m. thing. We had a brief one last fall. So what I want to do is, I'm hoping that those public meetings will generate questions, thoughts, concerns, and things like that. I'm always going to have it the week before this meeting, so that I can meet with the public. They can come to this, but a lot of people are work and can't get here. They can come and voice their concerns or have ideas or anything. And then I can bring it to this committee with this and with the feasibility study in mind and everything like that. Because I want the public's input as much as we can. I think I told Jim, what he said last year, late in the year, resonated with me, is I don't have enough information to make a decision. And when people look for, information, a lot of times they want the price tag. We can't get that yet. But once we start identifying square footage needs, and I think there's some sort of industry standard on what the approximate square footage is
Yeah.
per square footage there.
Yeah, so then that's the next step, is once they have that site plan in place with the building that's the correct size for your needs, then they would develop a cost estimate to.
And to give you a perspective, and I don't know the numbers, maybe you can jump in on this. The Norwich thing that we had done back in, was that 19 or 18?
19.
They-
It finished in 20.
Right, so they had a square footage number in there that I think Jared will agree, and I think Weston Sampson representative said that's way under.
Yeah.
It's also 5 years ago.
It's 5 years ago,
That
but
was
their,
a PD only.
right, their numbers included 23 numbers, but they could not have known back then what inflation would do in 22.
No, that was before the.
So there's not even a clue on that. So, you know, I know a lot of people have that study and they looked at it and they're putting that number in their head, and I just want people to realize that it's gonna be bigger than that number, right? But, you know, we're trying to do this as best we can, but we have to be realistic about what 2020 provided us and where we are at in 2024. You know, will it come as a sugar shock? I don't know. I don't know. I've heard about from them, they're like, it's more like double, maybe even triple in some areas these days. So I don't know. And I tend to think that, you know, probably this election year will have another probably forceful impact on the economy and what the kind of prices we might look at next year. So we got to be mindful of that too.
And didn't Raymond had a feasibility study done? It was kind of similar building too, right?
Yes.
And that, what was, that price tag was like double, basically?
It was, it was double. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Double what they were expecting, or
No,
what they
double
had?
what we had.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
you know, I give you an example. Now, and I don't, they had a lot more equipment and things put into theirs, but it was, not Hudson, Hooksett put on this 6,000 square foot addition to their, that's the one you were talking about, right?
I think you're,
Is it Hooksett or Hudson or?
Hudson.
Hudson, yeah, okay. So they put a 6,000 square foot addition onto their current building. It included a lot of office space, but a lot of special needs like evidence. They've got, they're putting their own lab in there, so there's a lot of big costs. But even the price tag on their 6,000 square foot addition is $10 million. Right, so but again, they put a lot of specialty stuff in. My guess is the construction wasn't nearly that whole cost, it was more the interior, but things aren't cheap, and that's really, you know, and I think everybody knows that. But again, our job as a committee is to follow through and to also educate everybody. So, anybody have any ideas about that public meeting or thoughts or anything? Good idea, bad idea, what are your thoughts?
Having it here so you can record it easily would be,
I think based on what I saw last fall, we're not gonna pack a room every month. So we could probably do it in here, so that's a great idea.
because that way if somebody can't come for some reason, they can still go back and watch the questions and discussion.
So, the other thing is, we often update ourselves, but we also rehash what we've been. And maybe it'd be worth putting a few pages together, talking about history, how we got here,
Mm-hmm.
what we've done, so,
That's a great
That's
idea.
what we talked about
so
last
when
night.
people aren't asking the same question, because of the new, you know, they missed all the meetings, and now they're here.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, because education is really, guys, the only way that we're gonna give the voters the best opportunity to make an educated vote, right?
I liked the idea too that came up. We had a site walk last night down in PD for BudCom, and we were talking about this a little bit. And I loved the idea about, I don't know if it was in this town or another town that you had referenced, that once there was some kind of a schematic to try to get it out in the public and post it at the library and post it at local businesses if they're willing, and just like get as many touch points so that the public can really start to absorb the idea. I think that's gonna be really helpful, just to get as many people interested
That's
as
why I want a
possible.
rendition of
Yeah.
this, so that people go, oh, what's the, oh,
something.
well, and then
Ballpark.
within that, you put, you know, you might put a little thing for flyers, or, you know, when the next meeting is, or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, geez, it's an informational meeting, I didn't know about this, because, excuse me, as you know, we get a town, what's the attendance at town meeting, usually 125?
150 to 200.
Right, so about 50 of those people are generally people that, you folks that are very involved in town and we see all the time. There's a large group that comes to town meeting, and that's the only thing they do in town. We never see them the rest of the year. Thankfully, PD doesn't see them for other reasons. But we need to reach that group of people, right? We need to reach them so that they're aware of what's coming in March. I don't want any surprises in March. I want this to be all out on the table for everybody to make an educated decision. And as I've said all along, I'd like them to actually make up their mind before they get to town meeting. If we do our job in education, they're probably gonna have a good idea. And my little presentation, they're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and we'll come back when it's time to vote, or whatever they do. But that's my goal, and it's been that way all along. And that's what these meetings and those new public meetings monthly are gonna have. Any other input on that, lady? Good idea, bad idea, you like it?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Who would write that document that Kip's talking about?
I knew I didn't want to bring it up.
No, probably Kip and I would do a joint effort on that.
Volunteers.
No, I think Kip and I would sit down and just
You just
probably,
got voluntold.
would-
No, I just.
but what
said-
I would do is we'll probably do more of a bullet point type thing, with some narrative in there, and then we'll distribute it to the building committee to just kind of double check, and if you got additions, you know, maybe he and I can get together next week on that, so we can get it right out.
You should post it on the website too.
Everything will be on the website. There will be a,
Who's gonna put it there?
oh, I don't know.
Have you
You brought
trained
it up.
anyone on the
You brought
committee?
it up.
Buddy.
No, I mean, we have a communications committee. We've got some very tech savvy people in the PD.
Okay,
So we'll get it out there.
okay.
We will get it out there. And
Justin
and,
will log in, okay, gotcha.
and Jim has spoken at
volunteers.
least regarding the newsletter.
You got volunteered.
Right. And any information we can push towards the newsletter, we're gonna do so. We've got how many people that subscribe? 1,500?
1,400 house.
Yeah. So 1,400 households get that newsletter. So that's a great spot for us to put information about that. You know, unlike a website, people that subscribe to that are actually going to read it, right? So that's another good spot. And anywhere else you guys can think of that we need to be exposed, you know, out there. Because when we do get renditions, we will put one at the library. We'll try to get a couple of area businesses to display it for us if they want, you know.
Andy, is there a message board behind glass outside the rec?
No.
It's inside the hall.
But we should definitely put, stuff in there. I mean, I have fitness classes going on every
Yeah.
single day. When we have weekend rentals, most often than not, it's 100+ people.
Mm. See, that stuff is gold. That's gold.
And
This
then
one at the library though.
there is, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to reach the masses, folks. That's the plan here. Because I would rather my phone be ringing off the hook and emails be piling up for people that have questions now than to have an 8-hour town meeting. Right? Well, it's
Probably
serious.
have that
Nobody
anyways.
wants to sit there for 8 hours, right? So if I can answer questions that the public has beforehand, then we're just that much further ahead of the game. Because one of the biggest concerns I hear is, oh, we didn't know about that. Now, I tend to disagree with some of those assessments because I think we do a good job in trying to get stuff out in public meetings, but I want to be better. I want to be better than that as this committee. So. Thoughts, comments?
Other town events between now and then, is it just night out and then?
National Night Out, I think.
We got National Night Out. Andy,
Christmas
what
light
do we have?
thing in the woods.
Coming up?
Over there, I mean, we'll have the haunted walk, we'll have
that one.
Beach Project weekend.
So maybe we set up tables.
Setting
Yeah.
We'll have ongoing sports during their season.
So I'll have your liaison from the PD get with you.
Yep.
And we can maybe look at some of those events. Maybe one of us go over there and just sit with a table and.
I know obviously Night Out, I know for the haunted walk, that originally started as kind of like a partner program or event that self and PD, I know for the most part, we always bring goodie bags. So I know you already have a presence there, so maybe bringing that
Perfect.
additional
Perfect.
info there with you would be great. I mean, the Beach Project weekend, you're gonna get 1,000 to 2,000 plus eyeballs on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll happily sit at the table as opposed to the dunk tank at National Night Out.
Well, this guy won't be in the dunk tank this year, I can tell you that. So,
Yeah, you and I did our time last year.
not unless I'm suspended in the air, you know, so.
And it slowly lowers you down.
I think we said there was gonna be select board members and the town administrator.
Oh, really?
No, I think it was.
I didn't get that memo.
I think it
remember
was
that
select
voting
board
on that.
chair and the town
I
administrator.
don't remember that.
I'm sick that day.
No.
I had COVID.
Invite was lost.
We'll take any volunteers for the dunk tank, Bill, just letting you know.
Time on back.
Actually, you're in the same boat I am.
Yeah, last year we put a little floating chlorine in there too, so we'll really clear up that pond.
I'll bring that back. That was my pool.
I
That was my
think, I
contribution.
think if either Bill or I are on that, we're not coming out of the water.
There'll be a lot of people want to put us in the water.
So, anyway,
Chief,
What
the
about
only
the
thing-
school?
okay.
Would they, Mr. Q does like a letter, I think, that goes out to a lot of parents? Or is that kind of like touchy?
I don't know, you know, and Letty, you were on the school board.
I was on the school board.
I don't know how that would be received. I'm happy to bring something like that to the
All
school
of the
board.
parents are residents of the town.
I mean, there's sports newsletters that get just share.
Put a little
the
blurb
path.
in there.
You just
Yeah.
point people towards the
Do they-
website or whatever.
Do they send out, they don't send out paper anymore from the schools, it's all
No.
email
It's
blasts?
all-
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all digital. It comes out every Friday, and sometimes they'll append
That's a great idea, George.
Xer
Is that
baseball,
Municipal
softball.
school?
If you do your
I'd be willing to
monthly
send stuff.
public meetings that you were talking about, if you did like just a one-page flyer, hey, we're doing this like every third Tuesday or whatever,
And that's what I'm
they'll,
gonna
they'll
put
put
out.
it, they should put it out for you.
Okay, that's what that's my plan, and on the website too, that is to tell people we're gonna do this, and tell them why. You know, we'd love your input the week before our committee meeting, so we have some things to work with, other than to rehash and you know, things like that, so that'd be great. Anything else?
See if we can, I mean, if we do get the flyers, we'll send them out like the churches and stuff too.
Yep.
I'm sure like the Baptist Church in Northwood will have no problem with that.
Yep, absolutely, that's great. Perfect.
Mr. Chamberlain can help you with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will. Public comment. Anybody? Questions, concerns?
Yeah, I have some questions. When was the site change, the potential building site change from the fire station to the rec area and why?
I think, what was that, over the last 4 months, 5 months, I think?
I would even say more than.
Actually, it was
last
probably
year.
before that.
Six,
It was
six, whatever, but
we
why was it
started-
changed?
You know, when I started getting interested in it was around the time of the Surratt, when they had that whole thing going. And I'll be honest with you, the site behind the fire station would have been okay. I wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't crazy about that location, even though it's just a little further south. I didn't wanna come out my front door and look at the back of solar panels, I'll be honest with you, and I don't think that's a good look for the town. If the town offices are in there, you come out and, well, there's our lovely solar panels. That's not, I mean, again, if we needed a functional spot, that spot would have been sufficient, but I think this is a much better spot. I think it's better visibility, much easier access. That was, and I, probably within the last 6, 7 months.
So it didn't have anything to do with, you know, the ledge and all that kind of, I'm not saying.
No,
I
no.
like the
I didn't even know about
I'm
ledge
just
until
asking.
last night, so.
What ledge?
Well, yeah, I.
No, there's no ledge up there that I know of. Didn't you talk about ledge on the road that they?
That's the road they
No,
found.
the road going around the Little League field has.
Oh.
Yeah, that's separate.
But I didn't hear anything about ledge. you know.
This has been in the works a
It
long
seemed
time
like a
now.
better place, and you didn't have to knock down a whole ton of trees, so.
Correct.
Okay, and when was this meeting posted?
This meeting
Yesterday
Yeah, this
morning.
meeting, this
Yep.
particular meeting.
Yesterday morning.
It's
On
on the
the-
calendar.
on the website or?
It's on the calendar now, but it wasn't on the weekly calendar like yesterday.
It has been on the calendar ever since we got that email moving it from last week.
Did you get,
You
yeah,
got it? I didn't get it.
I went there.
It's on there.
You have to click more events.
But Liz, you raised a very good
It doesn't
point.
just automatically
Just
pop up.
take the week of.
But that's why, that's the confusion.
But this is
When you
really
just
why
do the
we,
7 days, it doesn't
guys,
appear.
because we wanna
more
make sure
events
we're
and it
reaching,
opens
so if
them
you're
up.
not
Yeah,
getting.
it wasn't on the weekly thing.
Okay.
Okay, it was on the monthly thing, but it wasn't on the weekly.
Okay, so we just need to be a little better, yeah, that's fine.
I also think the monthly public meetings are a waste of time. I've been to several public meetings and they're very poorly attended. Maybe every other, I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot of work for you guys and not much.
Well,
The same people will be there, yeah.
but I have to be able to stand up in front of you all at town meeting instead of giving you every opportunity to get informed. I
But
need to
maybe
be able
make
to
an
say.
email or something. What would you, I don't know.
And I'll do
I think
cer-
there's
and
other ways to do it besides.
This isn't the only
public
way, but I'll do surveys, I'll go door to door if I have to be honest with you. I just want people to know,
meetings. Okay.
that's why. So if you have ideas on a mailing or something, I'll entertain those all day long.
And the one other thing is are you considering the possibility of making a building that's for the PD with a possible addition down the line, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, of adding the town offices? I really hate the idea.
I know you do.
I'll tell you why.
Yep.
It took 4 years from something like 2007 to 2009 to just get the fire station passed.
Sure.
And that final cost was like 1.6 million, and it was a really good bond year.
Mhm.
And the year before that failed by 3 votes. So that was 4 whole years. I've got the town, I just looked it up. I've got the town things. And there's no way in hell you're getting a $4 million to a $5 million building. It's gonna be like 10, 9 to 10.
Right.
I mean, what's the county building? I know it's a much bigger building, but what's the county building? 66 million? 63
Well,
million?
have you seen the
Huge
construction?
I've seen the construction, but I'm
Huge.
just saying, I think it's like ridiculous to think
Oh, I'm not expecting that. I'm
Well,
not,
that's originally what the,
Is,
right, but I just said, those were 2019 numbers for
whatever the numbers
projection.
were, I mean,
But-
2019 was three.
If we have the monthly public meetings and we advertise it, come to it, that's how we'll get the info.
But people don't come.
Wait,
People don't come.
hold on, let's not do it back and
What
forth.
you wanna do is try and sell to the majority of people who live here, the concept,
Voters, not the people.
concept of how, what you're gonna spend and what you're gonna get for the money. People can talk a good game, but when it comes down to how much does that come out of my pocket, they take another hard look at it and go, whoa, wait a minute.
I would expect them
Do
to.
we need to do that, really? So I think what Liz is saying is,
Build a police
get a
station.
police department,
That's
because
gonna be enough.
we gotta have a new PD. There's no doubt in my mind, I don't think anybody who's ever been down there near it would disagree. You
And-
gotta have a PD.
Right.
And have the PD in the space where you could add to it or build on it,
Or next to it or something.
whatever, but
So-
you
But
can.
that-
We've talked about that.
Go,
Let me
go,
just-
go, what
Right,
I'm
build-
saying is
like,
go for the prize. The prize is you need a PD, go for the prize.
Let me just interject for a second, okay? Couple of things.
Yeah.
If we wait 3 or 4 years to add the town hall, it will be 10 years. We won't do it. There'll be
Okay.
something, but let's just, let me
But we'll
finish.
have a police station.
There'll be other things that will come up and we would not be a responsible town if we let an opportunity like this go.
But
We,
you've also got the
but
rec.
we ruined it 10 years ago with the fire department when we didn't add a PD.
Yeah.
No, they
Let's
did that to
not-
get it passed.
But let's not be myopic and make the same
So
mistake
why would it
twice.
pass this
It
time?
right.
wasn't,
We, but,
it wasn't myopic, it couldn't pass. It didn't pass. Even the police, the fire station by itself didn't pass. It
But-
wasn't myopic, it was
but
supposed
if
to be a
I-
public safety complex.
if I rely on
They
it,
couldn't fit the new
No.
fire trucks in the damn building. It was
Whoa.
like, you know,
How we passed the firehouse, because I was there.
Mhm.
it was
We
this
passed
much,
the firehouse.
what was it, 2.5 inches or something
No,
above the fire
We
truck?
passed the firehouse with the understanding, whether it was verbalized or not, I think we did talk about it a couple times, is that we were gonna put a public safety complex there.
And that
was
proves
the-
my
that was-
point.
And we told the fire department,
Didn't
number
happen.
one, don't build the training tower that they built in the back. Because we're gonna do solar panels, and that's where we're gonna put them.
Right.
Because next to the firehouse where the solar panels are now,
Sure.
was gonna be the PD.
Oh, I know all that, but that
So-
proves my point. If we don't do it now, we'll have solar panels
But
next to the PD or something.
it took several years to get just the firehouse passed.
But
But
let's
if I-
also remember that was
Four. It's
15 to
four.
17
And
years
final-
ago, the
final-
demographics of the town
The final
has
hurdle to
changed.
get over it was that not only we're gonna put a firehouse there, we're gonna put a police department. We're gonna have a complex there for.
You see, we promised people something, we didn't deliver them.
Yeah,
And they're gonna remember that,
yeah.
right?
No,
So
half of them.
if I promise them a town hall in 5 years and we don't deliver, we just have
Don't
repeated
promise.
history.
So,
And
So
people
we're
call
hoping
that
to
insanity.
expand.
No, people call that insanity when we make the same mistake over and over again.
No,
We've all heard
but
it.
don't promise them a town hall. Promise them a police department, which we may be able to add on.
so,
I-
Because you do need someplace to vote, so you need that big,
whose
you
meeting is
know,
this?
place, whatever, and you need a police station. It'd be nice to do the town stuff, but
It's
remember,
not,
our whole town and school runs on less than 14 million.
Mhm.
And you're gonna do it like a 10, it's not gonna,
I understand your frustration, Liz, but I really truly think that if we don't take advantage of an opportunity to present it and let the voters decide. See, if I just said, well, you know what, guys, 15 years ago, took 4 years to pass the fire station, let's just not even go for a PD. What would I be doing?
no, I
Nothing.
didn't say don't go for the PD,
But-
but
I
my-
said don't go for the town office.
But
at
my
this
point
time.
is that,
And let the community make the
If-
decision.
Yeah,
but my point is this. If we wait the 5 years, the addition of the town hall will be 5 years more expensive, okay? And if we do it now, okay, we can still probably get some good money for this building that would help offset the bond, right? But why wouldn't we at least ask the voters, right? Why wouldn't it at least,
I think what we're trying
ask
to say
the
is
voters,
you're
and that's why
probably
we're-
lose both.
and I'm willing to take that risk because I believe strongly in that project.
Chief, a year ago when we did the charrette, one of the most high responses or volume responses we got was not having a town center. And, you know, to echo what Chief is trying to say, is like, let's shoot for the stars now. You know, that what you bring up was 15, 17 years ago. I mean, how many people still live
it
in
was
town?
14.
But I also think it's premature to start saying no when we don't even have a study or a cost or anything, right? Nobody has any information other than we have a site, we've got a committee, we've got some past history on prices, we've got all the, But everybody's saying no, and we haven't even gotten to the price tag. At least let me give you the price tag, and let me show you what you're gonna get for the price tag before we say no.
Yeah, I still don't understand how we got from a police station to
That was me, all me.
That was
I'm
the
the one
chief.
that threw the big wrench in the whole thing. And I'll
You've been
take
here
full
2 years?
responsibility, yep. And I have vision. Okay? I don't live in this community, but I feel as though it's my own community. I love this community. I have vision. Now, is that my job as the chief of police? Well, in police work, yeah, but I don't just stop there. We're all of us department heads we have vision for the town, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. I know we get paid to be here, but we care about this community a lot. You know, some of us to the detriment of family life and everything else, but we do it because we love this community. We love the passion that we see in this community. This is important that you guys are here and giving me, even though you and I disagree, Liz, you have passion, I respect that, okay? And I would respect other voters to come to us. I'm not just looking for yes people. I'm looking for people to challenge me so that it makes me think outside the box, not just to sell you something, but maybe I'm wrong and maybe you convince me, I don't know. But I don't think we're at that point of absolutely not one building and one building only. That's just my point. You know, give us a little bit more time to try to get you more information. And you've heard us all. We're trying to get information out to everybody that we can. So, yeah, that it wasn't my idea. Did I screw anything up? Sure, I'll take it all day long. But because I believe in it. And if I can get other people to believe in it, well, then we might be getting somewhere. And I have several like-minded people here, I think. And there's several in the community that are like-minded, but we need to reach everybody. That's all. And whether you reach them with your opinion for or against, at least it's getting out there that it's a discussion or topic. So I encourage you to talk to people, whether you're for or against it. That's all. It's my job to convince them we do need it, but always, any help I can get from the community is always good help. Right? Sorry, I got on the soapbox for a minute.
But just to bring it back, the committee has discussed adaptability of it so that it is a PD and then potentially something else because of the,
cost.
Because of the
well,
Right,
not
we've talked about building the shell and not,
building the shell,
Filling it
but
in.
not
Yeah.
outfitting it, like,
that's been discussed.
that's been discussed because
We
there's
get it.
history with the FD and the complex. It went iterative. It would be nice to show this is the fully baked idea, but if it fails due to cost or other considerations, then it can be brought back.
So would two things be presented? Like
The study
whole-
will tell us, like, if you wanna do this, this is your square footage for use A and use B, can you do that? And ideally, it would be in a stacked structure, because
Yes.
that's where your cost efficiencies are on construction,
I want to.
not two individual buildings.
I wanna
No,
try
that's
to-
okay, I'm okay with the, one sort of shell, but
I want to try to give you a picture of what it would cost, just PD and Town Hall, and then the cost after this building is sold. That's what I kind of want to give you.
Yeah.
So you have information. See, that's why that's why it's foreign to me to just not like the idea without looking at what the options are. You know what I mean? And I'll give you any options I can. Whatever we can get from this company, we'll give you options. You know, that's why this is a working and fluid group, right? Because we've changed the state already, you know. So we're always willing to listen to ideas, always.
I have one final comment, and maybe this would be for Jen. In the past few years at town meeting, we put money into the police building for the police study. This year you changed the name.
Yep.
Is that okay to do that? I mean, can you change, okay, we had this money in, say, ambulance, and now we're gonna buy a ladder truck. It's a different use.
Yep.
Why is that okay to change the name when people originally put their money
Because the
in for a
legislative
different-
body voted that it was okay.
And
That's why
you-
we had to change the name. It was
and you guys
legally
gave us a-
required,
yeah.
and the vote
Okay,
passed.
so for the vote passed because.
And it was
We couldn't have
two-thirds
used,
Also
vote.
required
we
to
couldn't have
donate.
used that money for a joint building project if it was still said only PD on it.
Okay, so when does the legislative count and when does it not count for like?
It's always permissive in that case because it's about a capital reserve fund. There's rules and regulations that we had to change the guidelines. It's different when we're talking about like authorizing raising of taxes for something, but when it comes to changing the name of a capital reserve fund, that's a statutory thing. It's allowed or it's not, and the voters passed that.
So if voters pass some other things like funding the newsletter, you just decide you don't.
Well, let's not go down that road.
That's a
This has
totally,
nothing
I know,
to
I'm
do
just
with it.
reading.
totally separate
This is
thing that has to
completely
do
different
with raise and appropriate taxes. This is about the naming of a fund,
So,
completely
but-
different. Completely different.
But if the taxpayers had voted for a warrant article to buy a new police car, then the select board would also be well within their rights to not actually buy it.
Of course, yeah, it's totally separate, completely separate from renaming a fund. Yep,
Yeah,
which was done.
and Liz, we needed a, what was it, they called a supermajority vote for that,
Yes,
two-thirds?
and it passed.
Yeah, it had to
And
be
it passed,
two-thirds.
so it wasn't just a 50%.
For renaming it?
For
Yeah.
renaming it passed.
It passed.
I know that,
Like you said, you're taking money that had been previously voted by voters.
for something else.
And you're changing it, so that's why it's
Yeah,
two-thirds.
we had to get permission.
We needed to make sure you guys were okay with the change, that's why.
But we're not, that's okay.
That's
Well,
That's why everybody gets
the
one
voters
vote.
were.
I was the other third, yeah.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when we talked, I mean, part, you have, I think there's a vision that this group has, bigger than, like, when you brought it up, a town center. We talked about this. I think that's part of what the message that needs to get out. I don't think a lot of people know about that. I mean, this is when I went to your meeting the first time, I knew all about the new police station. And I really had not heard about a municipal complex or something.
Yeah,
That's why I said it. I
Sure.
hadn't heard. I mean, but and that's why I'm asking you, like, that's what I think you should. And we talked about the new high school, right? It's like going out and showing them what they were getting for a new building with the cool artist rendering. That's part of the Dog and Pony Show, right?
That's just exactly the point.
And then there's this whole other part that you got to do on the financial side, making sure people understand how this gets paid for, how much is impact that. And like, so we did a really good job back then trying to sell that $100 million project.
Well, the two things people want to know is, what do I get out of it and how much is it going to cost me, right? Isn't that your two main concerns, right?
Yep.
One of them?
Yep.
There you
But
go.
I think you have this idea and vision, and I kind of like it, of a complex there at the center of town, including
Yeah.
maybe we do get rid of the solar panels, because why do we want the center of our community to look like that? Like, most times you put them in places where they're kind of not seen, right?
I know.
But like, so if you wanna make this, that's what I'm saying, like, if you have an honest rendering of the whole area of potential future, maybe there is area in there where future commercials, I mean, you could put some small shops.
We do have an artist rendering of that from the charrette.
We have the charrette.
It just doesn't include the municipal building.
So let me just give you a
historical
But if you can kind of pull that story together.
Sure.
Long before there was a charrette, there was a charrette before the charrette. And the town center was defined, and it was the road. And they were gonna put in sidewalks, and they were gonna have little shops, and,
In here, right? In this-
yeah, and here.
Sure.
And, that went just kind of by the wayside, because it was costly, very, very, very costly. And what I said before is you need to keep your eye on the prize. You don't wanna go another 4 or 5 years without a police department.
No.
You wanna go, I would hope that you have a police department next year. And I think, this is just me, keep your eyes on that, that's where you wanna get to. Everything else is extraneous, whatever it is, you need a new town hall, maybe, I don't know, but you do need a police department.
Gotcha.
And in my mind, that should be your focus. But that's me.
Thank you. Jim, did you have anything else? Anybody, anything else for the good of the order?
I have to say, I kind of agree with Liz that you might find that if monthly meetings are not working, then maybe reassess or space
Sure.
them out or find a different way. or
Again, I'll go to the
live
monthly
stream
meetings alone.
something. Yeah.
So
We can
I
figure that out.
actually, as Liz, we're the ones that go to meetings. I think it is almost better to have them and have nobody show up. So
It
we can
shows
say
our
we had
willingness
them.
to be transparent, yeah.
Well, I can tell you the last one I had, the 3 people in the audience were there, and I think there were 2 more residents. Maybe Becky was there,
We had maybe 6 in
Yeah.
the chairs.
and the rest were the committee.
I think the
But, again, that was one. If I offer them every month, and we publicize, hey, every month, if you'd like to come in and talk about the building that we're looking to build,
Yep.
please come in and give us your input. I don't care if nobody shows up, if 100 show up. I will be here every month
But I would
to try to
combine
tell
that
people about that.
with like an email in, like,
I will put
or
a blast out
email in
to
at
everyone.
that time or something, or make
We're-
it,
Again, we're gonna publicize these meetings in the newsletter, on the town website. We'll throw it on our
but
Facebook
make it so
page.
you don't have to be there, but you can contribute.
But they can do that now.
They can, they just, aren't, and so we're gonna have to try to push people in the direction of input, right?
Would it be helpful if we had an email address on the website that's like municipal
We could.
complex@brentwood.gov, and then if anyone has any questions, they can just click there and email.
I would be completely fine with that. That's-
Just costs money, right?
It does not.
Does it
It's
cost
a
money to add
distribution
a-
list.
Or we
It
can
doesn't?
just, or we can just put,
Okay. Oh, just do it as a distribution.
Put it on the PD.
you can just put, I mean, you could use the info@PD one that we use. When people wanna send a message to the PD as a whole, they have info.
Sure, we just have to, I'm just saying, we need to
We can
tell
put it out
people
there,
how to
yeah.
do that.
Absolutely.
Just slash it,
Email,
municipal
email.
complex or something.
Then,
I think we should also be encouraging residents to be contacting us. You know, I just had a meeting on Thursday night about the baseball field over there. And it was awesome to see everyone that showed up, but it would have been nice to have more. And I think we need to tell people to contact us. You know, there's a lot of town chatter, whether it's online or behind closed doors, but we also don't know those concerns if you don't officially contact us through the proper channels. And we want to, like what G said, we want to get that information out there, we want to help you. And, you know, I think that's a message we really should be championing, is to contact us. We want to talk to you.
Super. All right. We will adjourn the meeting at 2:17.
Motion.
When do you wanna reschedule or do the next meeting?
Yeah,
Uh,
we schedule the next couple.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't have my, wow, I don't know, what do I do?
All in favor?
No?
All in favor of?
Pump the brakes down there.
All
So
right.
when is the next public interaction?
Let's look at the calendar here. So, by my count, why don't we have the building meeting on the 18th of June? And I will have the public meeting probably on the 10th. It's a Monday night.
The 10th
I'll
of
have
June.
it at 6 o'clock on the 10th.
Here.
Is that,
There's nothing.
or do we have any
When
meetings?
does energy meet?
I'm sure you have it.
There's nothing on the town calendar.
Nothing listed.
This is.
There's nothing listed.
So that should be okay. So 18th,
18th for our meeting.
1:30, same time?
1:30, and then on the 10th, we'll do a public meeting at 6 p.m.
Is that
Hold on,
still
I
on
can look.
Tuesday?
The public meeting is a Monday, the 1:30 on a Tuesday, yes.
And it hasn't occurred to you to have this meeting any other time, any other days? I don't know too many people that are working.
Energy.
The hard part is that we're trying not to
Every month?
create overtime for the employees that
Oh, okay.
take part in it.
Okay.
And most of the people here, and and for people that, you know, I mean, they can always go back and look at the, you know, the minutes and everything like that. And which is again why I'm gonna offer a different meeting, because I'll discuss everything. I'll even go over the minutes from the previous month's meeting at that Monday. So, and we'll distribute them too, if people wanna see. All right, folks, thank you very much.
Now we can adjourn.
All right, now we can adjourn. Thanks, everybody, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Public, thank you for your comments, always welcome.
Ledge going behind the old backstone.
Yeah, maybe Jared, if you just reach out to your guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him right now.
Just tell us.